Hi, welcome to Fort Adams.
Where'd she go? Oh, she's out there. Jail. You going? Should we? She doesn't care. My name?
Do you know how they kept the grass on the roof? How they kept it short? Goats. Goats. And that's the barn that the goats stayed in.
Tom, 2 more?
Okay. Hi, I'm Tom.
Hi, sorry, hit every red light on the way here.
Hey, you get no sympathy from me. I live here. So, I'm working as best I can, okay? So, this is the main gate. The fort was built in 1824, so we're having our 200th anniversary. Yeah, not bad. It's built on a peninsula, so 1, 2, 3 sides water, one side land, but only as far as the Atlantic Ocean. Have you been out to Ocean Drive yet?
Not yet.
Oh, you have to go see it. So it's about Ocean Drive and the Atlantic. It's about 4 miles that way.
Gotcha.
That's the only approach via land to the fort.
Morning, Mr. Dave.
Hey, William, how are you? So, what do you say? Hi, William. So, there are three main components that went into building the fort. Granite that was quarried in Maine and brought down on ship. Which, when you read it, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, how'd they do that? But then I thought, yeah, well, the pyramids, that's kind of more impressive, right? So, but still, this is a very big deal. The exterior granite, 5-foot thick walls. This gate right here, wooden. Some dispute as to whether or not it was 2 or 3 panels thick. With iron reinforcements. Okay. This is the original ramp. Granite. Do you see the ripples? You see the ripples? That's so that the horses and the mules could get better traction. Do you see the wear and tear that the wagon wheels left? Wagon wheels. Shale rock and stone, which is easy. Most of the interior walls made up of the shale rock because it's easier to work with than the rock hard granite. All the archways, brick. 4.1 million bricks in this fort. When we bring school groups through, you say if they don't behave, they have to count all the bricks. This is John. Everybody wave to John. Hi, John. Hello, John. He's lonely very quick. Fort Adams is known as a giant amongst forts. You'd never know how big it is just by looking at it from the parking lot, right? It doesn't look this large. You can fit Fort Sumter in Charleston, Ticonderoga in New York, and McKinney in Baltimore. Lay them side by side with room to spare right here in the parade grounds.
Wow.
So it's a big fort, very big. The designer was a Frenchman, Simone, not Simon. One guy called him Simon, and one of his extended family members was in the group. So, Simone Bernard, Frenchman, an aide to Napoleon, and he was an expert in European fort design. We did not have fortification design expertise in our country, particularly when it was very young. So we went to the French. Okay. These cannonballs are not real. They're wood, but they're about the right size. About the right size. So if I'm gonna get you guys in front of everything within the time that we have, I'm gonna have to be less verbose than I usually am. So help me. If I'm standing in one spot for more than 15 seconds, you turn and walk away. That will be my clue to follow you. Okay. He was the designer. This is the builder of the fort. Joseph G. Taunton, West Point graduate. He went on to become the first chief of the Army Corps of Engineers in D.C. Pretty impressive. So when he got here, Simone Bernard walked up to him. I'm kind of ad-libbing, right? So Simone Bernard walks up to him and says, "Here are your plans for the fort," right? And he goes, "Well, thank you, Simone. Who's going to help me build it?" And we did not have the labor force in Newport. Even though Newport was the 5th largest city in the colonies, we just didn't have the arms and legs. So they went to Ireland. Ireland was experiencing a lot of economic hardship, depression, and they recruited 400 men. 400. Paid them, guess how much they paid them?
5 cents.
$1 a day. $1 a day. And because of the economic hardship that they were experiencing, they got 400 men to sign up and agree to come over. Very, very short time period. So here's the number, the well, actually it's closer to 4.2 million bricks. They were so desperate for bricks, they took out newspaper ads in the colonial newspapers begging anybody and anyone that had bricks. Yes, because they needed so many. And when I finish taking you guys out to the tunnels, you'll see why. But what amazes me is no bulldozers, no backhoes. I wouldn't even classify these things as wheelbarrows. The wheels are wooden. Come on, right? Yeah. Not something you find at Home Depot today, but 400 of these guys built this fort. Have you guys been downtown to see anything in downtown Newport?
Not yet.
Not yet.
This is our first stop.
Okay. Well, that's appropriate. So there's a very famous church in downtown Newport. Because guess what religion the Irish looked better back then? John Adams. They're doing restoration work in here, but you can sneak a peek through the windows. This is the senior officers' quarters. And you see the rosette in the ceiling? His was the biggest. And then they got smaller and smaller until you went around the corner, and then there was none. The junior officers didn't get a rosette. You see these big pocket doors? Right there, separating the two rooms. They're massive and they're really heavy. All of the intricate detail work, it's not wood, it's plastic. Even that rosette is plastic. I know. Where'd it go? there it is. You see the chair in the corner right there? You see the stuffed animals on it? There's a chair with the stuffed animals. Yes, that is a reminder. That is a reminder that children were raised here. The commanding officer and some of the senior officers brought their families with them. So I'm always amazed by that. It's like, Junior, go play in the parade ground. You know, that kind of a thing. It's really amazing stuff. But here's an interesting point. No matter what the secondary purpose of a space was, like this is somebody's home, right? Somebody lived here. They never forgot what the primary purpose of the fort was, which was defense against big sailing ships, right, coming in from the Atlantic, around the bay, into the harbor. Look at the back of the family room. There's a fireplace over to the left. The back of the family room has cannon embrasures and rifle loopholes in it. So, not that they kept cannons there, but if the fort ever came under attack, soldiers could file through your front door with pushing cannons and then put them into the embrasures in the back of your apartment. So they chose this spot for the senior commander's quarters because they were most concerned about enemy ships coming in from the Atlantic and entering Narragansett Bay, which is right on the other side of that wall. They thought that if shots were fired from the enemy, this would be the furthest place or location away from the cannon fire, which makes perfect sense. But this part doesn't. Right behind this wall, right there, behind the flagpole, right behind that wall, are the primary powder magazines. So little Sally and Johnny are sleeping in their bedroom here with 3 powder magazines behind this wall. 20 feet wide, 50 feet deep, 30 feet tall. Go figure. I'd like to include a little bit of inside baseball, right, in my story. They started construction of the fort in 1824. It took 33 years. 33 years. Even before they finished, they put arsenals, they garrisoned the fort with cannons, right, and soldiers in 1841. So they were pretty anxious, right, to get defenses in here. And the fort was operational until 1952. It's amazing. It had a lot of lives. Defense focus first, then training, then like an operations logistics depot for forts up and down the East Coast. But it's had many lives. In 1952, the flag was lowered, the fort was decommissioned, and it was neglected. When we started the restoration in 2001, graffiti.
Really?
Oh yeah, everywhere. You see the enlisted barracks over there? It used to run all the way down that wall to the left.
Really?
Fire. The archives say suspicious origins. Fire. It's so funny because sometimes a middle-aged couple will come through for a tour, and the guy will say, I remember when I went to Rogers High School, which is the primary high school in Newport, and my friends and I original replica made in Newport. Even before McDonald's had their quarter pounder with cheese, cannons were designated by the weight of the implement that they fired. So this is a 24 pounder. So what they would do is they had two, this is a casemate, but they had two cannons per casemate. They would maneuver them left and right on this granite track, you see? Because underneath here, they're wheels, like you see on the bottom of a train. So they would push the cannon back and forth. They would then load the cannon through the muzzle. Sacks of black gunpowder, not the real stable kind that we know of today, right? Black gunpowder. And they would take a ramrod and push it to the back. Then they would take the cannonball, put it in the muzzle, push it to the back. Then they would take a long needle and push it down through here and puncture the sacks of gunpowder. Insert a fuse. Then they had men on both sides that would use these as levers on the wheels to push the muzzle of the cannon through the embrasure. Light the fuse and plug their ears. There were eight men per gun team because there were so many little jobs to do, right? What's amazing is they could get a shot off every 90 seconds. Go figure. Absolutely amazing. You see that? You see that tall implement over there with the helix top, I guess? That's called a worm. And they would use it. Once they fired, they would go in with the worm. Because guess what? The inside of the cannon was a hot mess. So they would use the worm to clean out all the burning debris, ash, and everything else. And then get ready for the next firing. This is our baby cannon, This is a 4 pounder. And they use it to shoot it off during weddings and so forth. During the summer, pretty much every Saturday and Sunday there's a wedding here. And the bride and groom love to stand here together, arm in arm, and have their picture taken in front of the cannon. I don't know why, but they like it. A lot of them do it. The only other thing I can show you in here, the casemates were enclosed, but not with this fancy glass, right? It was not there. So it would get very smoky in here, right? And so you see this half diamond. You see? That half diamond is like your flue at home on your chimney. And so it would help hold all the smoke up. And I'll show you the top of the chimney when we go upstairs. Careful. The steps slant down towards you. That's how they got rid of all the rainwater, all the rainwater would drain down. So go up on the left side, and hold the rail.
Imagine like run up this quickly. Oh wow.
These are the original railings. See why they've been disturbed.
Yeah.
The world safety, if not missing. The Newport Bridge. It was opened in 1969. 1969. Newport Bridge.
I hate bridges.
Do you?
When we came in on that, I was scared.
I recently crossed motorcycle ownership off my bucket list.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah. And it's better in my 60s than my 20s. I probably wouldn't be here if it was in my 20s. And the first time I went over that bridge on my motor, I was scared to death. I was able to disassociate from the water on both sides, but the metal grates, you can see straight through. There's a number of them on there. That was different.
I could never.
So, Newport was the 5th largest city. He or she?
I have a girl, yeah.
Girl dog?
Yeah.
She thinks she's the alpha.
No.
No, maybe of the couch.
Yeah.
Oh, the alpha that she So, if you're familiar with the concept
Yes.
of alpha
Yes,
dog,
yes.
okay. If the fort had an alpha wall, this would be it.
Gotcha.
Three tiers. The little 4-pound cannons we saw in the casemate on the top. 24 pounders. Never had to do it, but they could do it if they had to. So when they installed Spielberg. So when they installed more modern gun batteries up on the other side of the south wall, these cannons became all the kind of disrespect. the ball return in the middle. They would toss or bowl from up here, pins down here.
Is that still intact?
It's still intact. You wouldn't want to use it, and if you stepped on it, it may crumble under your feet.
I'm just shocked at so many people sneaking in. I haven't tried to get
One of the reasons that they put the balcony, this, in the early days, the enlisted men slept in tents on the parade ground. The officers had it cushy, they did not. When it became a training depot, they figured they probably should get the guys off the grass. And so they built these enlisted men's barracks. And they installed the balcony. Kind of reminds me of a quad in college, right? Because they had a baseball diamond out here. They had to watch that. They played football games out here. These guys are playing football. They had Fort Adams Olympics, where they would do like track meets and so forth out here with these guys running. So you get the sense that the life of the fort evolved over time. Oh, I forgot to tell you, down at that end, and there's a reason why I'm telling you this, a social club for the soldiers with hostesses. That was their second mistake. Building the social club in the first place was probably the first mistake. So that building that you guys, you saw the jail, right? You guys saw the jail. The jail cells that we locked her in. Yeah, we locked her in one before you guys got here. And that building called the Redoubt, it was constructed in the early 1800s. In 1867, they converted it into a jail. You guys can go see the cells when you're done. And I'm convinced that the reason why they needed the jail was because of that social club. Even back in the 19th century, boys will be boys, right? Immature boys will be immature boys. Granite walls. They had big, massive wooden doors on this end and that end. And there are six different layers of land defenses out here. 6. If you were unlucky enough to get through them, which would not be easy, and you had an axe, and you had a satchel of explosives, and you guys took down this massive door and made it inside the postern, what was waiting for you was to see these rifle loophole slots that have been sealed up. So there would have been our soldiers behind those slots with their rifles pointing down at you on both sides. And even if they didn't hit you directly, think about all of the ricochet going back and forth at you. These stairs go down to tunnels deeper than the one I'm going to take you guys into. And purpose of the tunnels were so that our reinforcements could go out to the different layers of land defenses without having to go outside and be exposed to enemy fire. They could stay underground and go out to reinforce the soldiers. Pretty shrewd. One of the most difficult things about becoming a guide is learning which key goes with which block, because they're not color coded. So let's say you two attack the fort. And you made it through all these levels, right? And you got into here, and you were going to chop down the gate or blow the gate up. Rifle loopholes bearing down on you, right? Cannons and cannon embrasures and rifle loopholes bearing down on you. You're going to have a very bad day if you got this far. This is called the interior ditch. That one out there is called the exterior ditch, but it's all designed the same. There are two purposes behind the design of land defenses. One, maintain the high ground. Two, layers, catch you in a crossfire. You see how the embrasure, the exterior of the cannon embrasure is not granite. When I walk through here, no matter how formidable, again, during the early days, this enlisted men's barracks was not there, right? Because they were out in tents on the parade ground. Because that brick, that barracks would have been so easy to destroy with cannon fire, right? Versus the granite. Hoofing it back towards the other end of the entrance of the tunnel. And so you can never tell how people are going to react. Usually the black ones work best. I always try to This is what the inside of a rifle loophole looks like. And if you fit, you know, to have the long muskets, you could only aim but so much. Do you know what I mean? Because you're restricted by the tight opening, but the tight opening helped a lot with the enemy firing at you, because it was harder to get through. There are three steps right here, 3 steps. And in the tunnels, there are two plastic rats. So if you see a third, run. It's the original floor, so it's safe, but it's, you know, dirt and rock. Can you imagine being stationed in here? Having, can you imagine having to stay down here, listening, without a flashlight? They had what, oil lanterns, candles, and probably torches, right? Little torches. Here's the first counter mine. This would not be here. This would be open. But you can see the rock behind. The soldiers would take the rock out and then start digging. These are auxiliary tunnels, shorter, and they also have counter mines that go off of them. And if you go through these, your back will hurt. Your back will hurt because you have to bend over. Rat number 2. The students name them when they come through. Rock. More tunnels down below. And they're usually filled with water, so we don't go down there. You can go. So how would you like to go down there for a duty show? Right.
Not me.
Seems like you had to do something wrong to get that shift.
Yes. Or at least get paid more money, like
Yeah.
hazardous duty pay or something. Do you guys want to go through the auxiliary?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Do you want to go through? Okay. I will meet you right up there.
Yeah, you can't get lost. You'll come out the other exit that I showed you. Yes. Yes. I'll meet you.
Bye.
Be careful. Bye. Be careful. When the students come through, you guys know you can't get lost. There's only one way.
This would suck. Having to go through this every day. What is it? Moss, mold, disease.
What's it not?
Is that right?
Yay! High five! Yay!
Maybe.
High five.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Can you imagine? It's what a different life. That's a great picture.
Yeah. I was just a woman, so not fun yet.
You are out here. This is where we came in.